we have some seedlings. Hi everyone! Welcome back to another really exciting project. I've decided that the garden shall have another wildflower meadow. Where, you might ask? Well, in the front lawn. Let's do it. The first step is to prepare the area and decide where you want your meadow. It can be anything from a huge field down to a smaller container in your back garden. It really depends on the space that you have and of course the design that you want to get. The lawn that we have at the front of the garden is long and thin, which I think is really typical from houses in the UK. We thought that an oval shape would be really nice because it would kind of like soften the angles of the garden but also retain a really nice and contained shape, and I think that will really help the meadow shine. Alright, so this is what our little medallion or oval shaped meadow looks like. I lost the footage of us preparing it, but essentially all we did was putting 2 sticks here as the foci of the ellipse, and then with a string using that to trace around that really lovely shape, and then we just used an edger and a shovel and removed all the sod. So that was definitely not the easiest way to get to a clean slate. But it's very late in the season, it's the end of April, so if we want blooms in July, we need to sow right now. The remains of the daffodils, and we dug around them to give them the best chance of coming back next year, so we want the foliage to die back naturally, and hopefully they'll love the spot and come back in numbers. Hi Sushi! This is off limits young lady. Previously, in the meadow that we did last year, we started much earlier and covered the soil for 3 months to, avoid having to do all that grunt work. I still need to rake it a little bit, but basically you don't want to have only like really big bits like this. You want that really nice fine powder tilth so that the seeds have the best chance to germinate. I have some foxglove seedlings that I rescued from the garden, and so I've repotted them and they've grown on quite a bit now. So I was thinking I could add them to the meadow. That will provide more height and also more food for the bees. So we'll start by adding those in. And ideally, once you get to that stage where you have bare soil, you would want a couple of weeks for any weed seeds to sprout, and you'd kind of like hoe them off and remove those, and only then sow your seeds, just to make sure you're not encouraging a lot of weeds, essentially. Once the soil is prepared, it's time to prepare the seed mix. I'm really excited. I have a really lovely selection of seeds. Let me show you. I have put here all the seeds that I just showed you and that we're going to sow today. And I also have the grass seed. It's about a 10 square meter coverage. I think I'm going to put about half of that, so there's still plenty of room for wildflower seeds. I have a nice, beautiful base of grass, and I think that will really help the meadow overwinter well. So I have some beautiful cornflowers from last year. I'm going to add a few more. This is what cornflower seeds look like. I also have this combo, polka dot. So the seeds will look the same. Something that's going to be different this year is that I'm adding some sunflowers. This is a dwarf variety called Little Dorrit. It grows about 60 centimeters tall. I'm really excited about it. It's the typical looking sunflower with a dark center and gorgeous yellow petals. I think that's going to be really fun come September. So we pop those in. These Craspedia Billy buttons, I added it last year to the meadow, but nothing came up. I'm hoping maybe this year that somehow, the seeds are stayed dormant. Another variety that I'm really looking forward to add in the meadow are cosmos. I've already showed you cosmos seed before. They look like mini bananas. It's so fun. Then I want to add in some ragged robin. This one will flower next year, so we'll have to wait a little bit to see it, but I thought it's really good that it attracts butterflies, and also really love the shape of those pink flowers. I think they're really wispy and will be perfect for the meadow. Really small seeds there. They look like foxglove seeds, really small and round. I'm really excited to be adding this. This is part of the Country Living collection from Home Base. I picked up a few more bits. I also have more poppies to show you. Really love this. The seeds came into that little vial, and now all of the poppies. I went completely overboard and bought a ton of them. And this is how this whole project came about. I just loved puppies so much that I really wanted a meadow that was full of them this summer. This is what we're gonna do. Ideally, for puppies, you want to do successive sowings because they don't flower for a very long period of time. If you sow all the seeds at once, chances are they're all going to bloom at once, so that's always something to keep in mind. First, we have this gorgeous poppy Oh La La, super frilly in a mix of colors. Another one from the Country Living collection called Peony Black, a double one. I didn't even know puppies could be double. This is so exciting. Then we have Puppy Album, another gorgeous purple one. I really have a theme this year in the garden between all the dahlias that I got in purpley shades. And then the last oriental puppy is called Pandora. This is another one that I'm really looking forward to with the red and pink. It's going to be glorious. Then I have this gorgeous puppy called Hungarian Blue. I really love the double violet color with the deeper shades of purple. Really lovely. Then I have 3 varieties of Californian poppies that grow slightly shorter too, in those gorgeous creamy peachy tones. This one is Peach Sorbet. I've already sowed it in a couple of other areas of the garden, so I can't wait to see what it does. I don't know if you can spot the difference, but those are slightly bigger than the other really tiny seeds we had. Then I'm also going to add Poppy Ivory Castle and this glorious mix with slightly brighter colors, but still in those purpley pinks and apricots. So fiddly, these seed packets. Again, I'm sowing just part of the seeds that I have so that I can do a succession sowing in a couple of weeks' time. Last but not least, last year at the end of the season, I harvested seeds from the Wildflower Meadow. I harvested ox-eye daisies, some poppy seeds, and corn cockles and corn marigolds. So all of those that bloomed absolutely beautifully, profusely for a really long time. And I want to add those in the meadow as well. This is what the ox-eye daisy look like. They're really small and have a conical shape. There's a lot of dried petals in there too. I hope you can see. Then those are very simple poppies, a lot of red ones, and also a variety called Lauren Grape, a gorgeous dark purple one. I'm just going to add everything that I have. Then I have corn cockles, really lovely purple flowers. The seeds are much bigger. They're dark. And last but not least, the corn marigolds. We have about 9 square meters of meadow, so we need quite a bit of seed to really make it feel full. Also because I think it's always better to oversow because we're going to have birds and other wildlife potentially snacking on them. We're going to have seeds that don't germinate. So I'd rather put more seeds in than I need, just so that I ensure a good show. Now I'm just mixing things up as much as I can. I've decided to sprinkle some compost over, simply because a lot of those seeds need to be covered to germinate well, also to be protected from bird and from drying out too quickly. Typically, wildflower meadows will not require a rich soil. But as I said, because we have that tree that pumped all the water and the nutrients away from that space, I know the soil is pretty poor, and also the compost only has nutrients for a couple of weeks. All right, this is what we look like now. All kind of mulched in, but no, I added this really thin layer of compost. I think it looks really good just right now. In the center we have our foxgloves. I'm hoping they'll do well because this is so dry. Look at all this green. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that last year I had my dream wildflower meadow. We turned a really small and sad piece of lawn into a beautiful wildflower meadow. If you're creating your own wildflower meadow this year, make sure to check out this playlist that I'm going to link here and in the comment section below. It details all the steps that we went through, the results from start to finish, and also the resowing that we did in the little round back garden meadow. I can't wait to show you how this meadow is going to turn out. We actually need a name for it because the front lawn meadow and the back meadow, you know, are not very sexy names. So let me know how we should call this new meadow. Maybe I was thinking the medallion meadow because we cut like a little medallion shape in the grass, or maybe the poppy meadow because we're going to have so many poppies. Let me know in the comments how we should call it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. I'll see you next time. Bye! What are you doing, baby? This is not our tree. This is not our tree. Come down. Okay, this is going to take forever. Change of plans. We're just going to sprinkle manually the compost.